I'm not gonna just start it randomly. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Goose is Loose podcast. The Goose ain't here yet. He'll be here as soon as Ms. T shows up. So, hopefully,
was that a goose noise? Sounded more like an eagle then.
So yeah, we got April Fool's podcast. Didn't even realize. I thought yesterday was April Fool's for some reason. Everybody's trying to fool everybody with fucking videos today. I see Nintendo Life's trying to say their videos. Yoshi's sets new sales record for Switch. I'm thinking that has to be April Fool's.
It's like I said earlier, man. I don't do that stupid April Fool's shit.
Yeah. No.
It's stupid.
Yeah. So that means Retro Death actually loves Metroid Prime 2, so that's cool.
It's really seriously, I seriously love that game. It's my favorite game of all time. It's hard to like say that now when you always make it like a joke and stuff and like use it against people just because you're trolling and shit. Like, I mean, how are people ever gonna believe me now when I say that? It's just such an original game, I feel.
You're a terrible actor.
The fact that he's trolling about this still upsets me, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who likes other M to no extreme. So
yeah, and he thinks Darksiders is like one of the best trilogies of all time. So
I never said that's the best trilogies ever. I think Darksiders 2 is one of the best games ever. That is true, though.
That's even worse.
It's a good game. It ain't all that though. Like I like it a lot.
It's as good as probably an Ocarina of Time clone Zelda game or non-Zelda game that's trying to be like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Darksiders 2. It was a love letter to Zelda. It is intended as that, though, and they always stated that.
Anyway, Robert's here.
What are we talking about?
Bullshit.
Terrell, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So, before we go any further, I got to do a clarification on an Active Gamer Life video he did. Where he's talking about Google Stadia and the fear, and I'm sitting there listening, like, yeah, there are people definitely, acting a little weird about it, a little crazy, almost like they're afraid. And he's like, here's an example. He's like, I tweeted this or messaged this in the YouTube chat about how I'm just going to stick with Microsoft because at least I can get all that, plus I'll have the option for physical games. And my reply wasn't even thinking about Google Stadia was that I think Microsoft, the Xbox, is on nearing the end of its life. In short form, I was just basically I feel they have one generation left and they'll be out of the console business. Maybe they'll still have some kind of game service, and he took that as I was talking about Google Stadia was the reason Microsoft was gonna be done, and I was like, I just heard you say you're gonna continue to support Microsoft, and I was just giving my opinion that I think they're gonna be done. So anybody that's seen that video, like that had nothing to do with Google Stadia, and I really just feel Microsoft's on their last. If this next Xbox don't sell PS4 numbers, I think they're done with the hardware business. So anyway, I just want to clear that up. Anybody got any thoughts on that though? Do you think Microsoft's next Xbox?
I think they're done either way.
Yeah, I don't know if it sold 100 million in the next system. It won't, but if it did, I think they would give it another go, depending on what the whole landscape of the industry is at that point. Because I'm talking 6 years from now, probably.
Well, if they sold 100 million and they ain't making no damn money off of them, I don't see.
Yeah,
that's the main problem with Microsoft. They've never made a
dime. And their new CEO guy, he's cutting the fat. He's been cutting the fat, so. Terrell, you'd be really upset if Microsoft got out of the console business. I know that.
April Fool! I wouldn't give up. They wouldn't change a goddamn thing. People talk about, we would lose something. We wouldn't lose a goddamn thing if Microsoft left the console business.
Because I know somebody would pick up Forza. It'd still be made. Forza Horizon was the only game at this point that they even care about.
I think they're going to continue making games because why would they?
Oh, that's true.
Invest in all these studios and shit. Like at this point, that would be pretty.
They'll just be like Sega.
Yeah.
No, don't say that. Don't put them down there. Don't do them like that.
No.
And-
Okay,
man.
I think you're
Well,
holding Microsoft.
that's an
I think you're
insult to
holding
Microsoft, in my
I was gonna say,
opinion.
I think you're holding Microsoft to a higher standard than you
I
should.
think they've made more
if you're
quality
putting in
games
that.
than Sega has over the last 10 years.
And I'd say
I'm just
Sega,
saying.
Sega had what, 2 or 3 bad, terrible generations in a row of hardware.
Yeah.
Um,
The games were there. They just couldn't get the
Mhm.
hardware together. But no, that's not really
No,
sales.
that's not true.
Hardware
No,
sales,
no.
not
I mean,
hardware
yeah,
itself.
okay, yeah, that's right. Thanks,
well, if you're talking
thanks,
about
I'm glad
Sega
you said
CD,
that.
32X, Saturn, Dreamcast, they're all
Those-
abysmal flops.
Great
sales-wise.
systems, but
The
Saturn
32X
was a
is not
little-
console.
Saturn was a little difficult to program for. It was a little
But
shockingly
either way, they
put
were
together.
like under 10 million for the 2 main consoles, and their little add-ons were, they
Yeah.
just it was just bad business. If they would have
Just
just
bad
focused,
business on Sega side. That's all.
Yeah.
Bad business.
Sega America and Sega Japan at each other's throats. That's what happens.
and I gotta say, Clock, that you're gonna hate me, but I celebrated the news that Sega was getting out of the hardware business because I never was a fan. I know you're sad
April
for you.
Fools, right?
Didn't you get a
April
Dreamcast?
Fools, right?
I had the Dreamcast and I liked it,
Yeah,
but
and you love the Dreamcast. What are you talking about?
yeah, but I wasn't
about?
sad. They were
I
the
celebrated it. And like I understand, like, all right, it doesn't matter to you, but celebrate it.
I don't know. I just was.
That's
It was
fucked up.
like finding out Rage Against the Machine broke up. I didn't hate them, but I was like, I wasn't a big fan of their music, and I was just like, yeah, that's for the best. It wasn't a negative feeling. It was a positive feeling from me.
I don't
You can
understand
stop
why it's
joking. You can
possible.
stop joking now because in the UK it's the 2nd of April now, so you can stop messing around. Now.
Yeah, just I didn't have a lot of love, even though I liked the Dreamcast. I didn't have much love for Sega. I bought the Dreamcast to play Soul Calibur. I don't think that wasn't their game. But anyway, I don't want to Clock that's gonna fucking fly over here and murder me if I continue talking.
Yeah, I best put this knife down. Shit.
So the first thing I want to talk about, and it's gonna tie in slightly to a tweet Retro Death shared with us from OJ about the greatness of this April for Switch.
Oh God.
Something to do with like one of the best like third-party support in a month the system's ever seen. Something ridiculous.
Man.
let me get the knife back with that.
The thing I wanted to talk about was Mortal Kombat 11's on that list.
That's the only new game.
I think that and one of the indie games is new.
Yeah, I mean, like, major retail.
But
Real games.
and that's going to take a bit of a side turn.
real game.
But hype up Mortal Kombat 11, and it's shown at PAX if you're there. And I'm getting this strong like Wii era vibe from when third-party games would come and you wouldn't see them until they hit the store shelves, and you had to buy it or try to find one YouTube video where somebody bought the Wii version and uploaded gameplay.
Yeah,
It's like so they had an absolute no recording off-screen footage of Mortal Kombat 11. It was portable mode only, and just like no one could even capture the gameplay. Like, to me, that just feels like they're hiding a little bit. And I knew it was going to be portable only. That's just I was 100% surprised Hellblade was shown on a full TV docked. But to me, this just like if you really think that you're going to give that game credit for great support, then why the hell aren't they showing it? And why do you have to hear people's hands-on impressions and can't see any kind of footage? I mean, the game comes out this month. Like,
it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any damn sense. But Nintendo said, "Oh, it's because it's an early build." What are we, children? like, really? That's your excuse? Come on.
I think when it comes to the internet, we are for the most part. You could imagine. Yeah, if everyone
game's
saw
coming out in a
early
month,
build,
how is that? I
Yeah,
don't understand.
I agree. I'm on your
Well,
side. I'm on
No,
your
no, I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying.
if it was an early build, you know how we've been saying, and I've had this theory, and I think we all kind of agreed that games are designed, they're ported first to portable, They make them run on portable mode, and then who knows how late in the development, like, all right, now when it's docked, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna? If that's the case, maybe they didn't even add anything to dock mode and whatever that build is. I could see that because I mean you're talking probably 360p blown up on a TV. Probably look pretty bad, maybe 480. So I could see it. That would be the reason of the early build if they haven't implemented the docked boost, whatever. So
Game Explain said it looked good though.
Everybody says it looks good, but I mean, a lot of games look pretty good.
They said it looked good and it ran well, and they were kind of surprised that Nintendo's not allowing people to show it.
And off-screen footage, I mean, makes games look better than they really are because the Hellblade off-screen footage, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And then I listened to Nintendo World Report, not a channel I usually watch, but the guy's like, yeah, he's like, it seemed to run good, but man, it's really low resolution. You know, he's the only person I could find that even
that's disappointing
talked about it. So, you know,
we've already seen the game thanks to you. I said we've already seen the game thanks to you on the Switch.
yeah.
So, I mean, at least they showed it and let us know what we're getting. Why hide? It just doesn't feel like they should have been hiding Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch. I don't know.
It's a major release that's coming out in a month.
When is the actual date?
It's like April 23rd.
Not even a month. It's like 3 weeks.
Although I have my own issues with Mortal Kombat, but it's something unrelated technically. So,
man,
is that the whole unsexualized?
Oh, Retro was having a conversation on Twitter. I don't know if it was today or yesterday with Trey, because Trey doesn't understand the problem that this is. But hey, look, some people give a shit, some people don't. It's fine.
Well, it's not that. It's just that Trey's kind of a Mortal Kombat slut. So,
well, he is a Mortal Kombat. That is true.
He's just not going to hear what you're trying to tell him at all.
That's very true. I felt vindicated. That's the only thing. Because I'll run down it real quick. All it was that there was an interview that came out recently that confirmed that it was intentional. Because some people are like, "Oh, what they doing to the female character designs? Oh, that's just that's you guys. You're just making up shit." Well, one of the interviews confirmed that no, that was intentional, and their argument was because we wanted to make their outfits more realistic. And I'm like, but all the dudes are still shirtless, so what kind of logic does that make, you piece of shit? I know what it is. You're subscribing to that bullshit ass PC culture, like you're trying to do women a favor.
Which doesn't make sense because whenever it came out, Injustice 2, he was talking about how ugly the females looked in that game. So I'm confused.
And the stupid thing is they've been promoting Mortal Kombat like the last couple of weeks, like how it's like old versus new. You get all the old outfits and shit, but it's like so just the dudes are gonna get the old outfits now, or because the chicks have always been half naked,
right?
No.
But they were never. I don't think they were ever like super sexualized though in Mortal Kombat.
No, they shouldn't do it.
Like bathing suit level for some, I guess, but like that is not. But yeah, like this day and age, that's already like too much and shit. And it's just because some people are like, but no, games don't get sense and that kind of shit. They don't do it for that. It was a choice. No, bitch, this wasn't a choice. It wasn't a choice. People just don't want to deal with the whining of people who don't play video games anymore. So I was also like, yeah, dude, like now you're like, oh, it doesn't matter, but it's like years ago people said it doesn't matter. And now games aren't even being released anymore worldwide. Like I said, the Dead or Alive Extreme, like the volleyball shit, like most people didn't care. But they came out and the president of Sony said, like, yeah, we're not releasing that in the West because you guys are a bunch of like little sissies with all the SJW shit. We don't want to deal with that shit. They came out and said it like that. And that's the next step. Now you don't cry about outfits. And tomorrow you can cry about not having any games. It's like, it should be an issue.
Yeah, people who don't even play the damn games
have
to dictate what the games look like. This is some bullshit.
And people acting like, oh no, you guys it's just because you guys want your fucking bathing suits for masturbation material. And I'm like, that's not the point. It's not the point
thing. I don't want outsiders dictating how my games look and play and shit. Like, I don't
why are you out here changing character designs and fucking with outfits purely because of the non-female gamer over there in the corner talking about, well, this isn't this. This isn't respectful. This isn't tasteful. This isn't representation of real women. But you ain't got no problem with the dudes over there, buff as shit. The necks the size of fucking footballs. Oh no, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Or you get like the dildo-shaped swords coming through the women's mouth in the back and shit, the blood squirting out. It's like, come on, give me a fucking break with the censure. It's Mortal Kombat.
It's to me, it's just a double standard. You can't sit there and get mad about one thing, but not get mad about the other thing. And the fact that no one, oh, I don't see what the problem is. Well, then you don't get it. You're part of the problem if you don't get it.
But it's like what T said. Like Trey, he needs to crawl out of Ed Boon's ass, man. I don't know what that is, but
it's called being a butt pirate. All right, you
But
can't
damn.
do anything. That's a medical condition.
See, I don't really.
I ain't say all that.
I don't have any. I don't like social justice warrior stuff, but for what I've seen, I don't think it's a big. It's not like going from Dead or Alive to what they have in Mortal Kombat. You know, from the last game to this game.
You don't understand, Juice. It may not be a big difference now, but if this shit continues, these PC, this PC culture is gonna completely take over game. It's gonna be too late when you decide, oh, this. I don't like that.
To me,
it's
that's
gonna be too late.
That's the reason why Sony's been censoring games for Japan as of late anyway. Because I think it's already been invading gaming. It's just become a slow burn is all it is.
If everybody is afraid to say anything, if you have comedians afraid to make jokes because they're worried who they're going to offend, we already have that. We already have that problem. If you have people worried, if you have creators, artists worried about what people are going to say, they're going to be in a box creating their art. And I don't want that. I don't want that shit at all.
What is the actual?
It's primarily Western gaming currently. That's the main.
Right, because we're still Puritans over here. We don't get
enough
sex.
We're cool with murder. Murder.
We love violence, but we don't get enough sex over
What
here.
did they actually say? I was typing in the chat. I don't know if somebody in the beginning did you say what the quote actually was? Because I guess.
Oh yeah, I'll pull it up. Give me a second.
Because it's like what Terrell said, you know. At this point, it's like the gaming industry's most painful joke. It's like Nintendo is slowly stopping the censorship, and now Sony's going to start the bullshit all over.
Yeah, and there's no reason to do it other than I think so. And I understand what the main reason is that America is kind of overtaking Japan in terms of console gaming, so they're mostly concerned about the Western audience. So they don't want to burn anything. They don't want to burn any bridges with any Western gamers. And I'm like, but these are the people who don't play Mortal Kombat anyway. It's not like you're losing money or anything.
Isn't that funny? Like when in movies, they pander to the East.
Okay.
The West does, and then the East panders to the West on video games. This is insane.
I'll read the quote real quick since I posted the article in the chat, but I'll read the quote. Our character lead, Brendan George, has had a breath of fresh air of just introducing new ideas. Our design is getting more mature and respectful. You're not gonna wear a bikini to a fight. You're not gonna be showing so much skin. I think it's just what the game is about. You're not going to fight for your life. You're going in to fight for your life, and you're not going in there to wear such scantily clad items. I'm sure this will disappoint some fans. We don't have a bathing suit fighter, and I think that's fine. If people are disappointed, I don't regret making that change by any means.
Well, here's the thing that, I mean, if you really want to argue against that, like he's saying you wouldn't wear a bikini to the fight or to a fight, but when your neck's broken halfway through the match, you're not going to finish the fight.
You want to talk about now? You want to be realistic about give me a break, bro. Like, come on.
You know it's a cop out. It's just like, what's
a total cop out?
Yeah, like what's the way I can justify changing the female fighters but barely changing the male fighters in a way that kind of works? Well, we're going for realism. No, it's a video game. What do you mean you're going for realism?
A guy gets bludgeoned crushed. Right, several times in one match.
Half of these girls half of the women aren't even human. Some of these girls are like, what do you mean?
You're fighting in another realm. Oh, that's real.
And I know that I just hate the fact that it's for an agenda. And I had people on Twitter talking that bullshit. Actually, I think I made a tweet on Twitter, I think, about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because I heard people saying, "Oh, look look at the reason why I wouldn't play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is because of those anime waifu characters, and I'm like, do you people think that like visually sexual women can't be good characters?
I don't understand.
It's gotten to the point now where I'm like, I think people think if your breast size is above like a B cup, you can't be a good character. You're not a representation of humans. All right.
I was told that what's her name's breasts were distracting to the gameplay.
Wait, who?
I don't know who told me. What's her name? The main female with the big. I can't think of her name. But I have a headache for some reason, so I can't think straight right now.
You're just thinking.
No, Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, Pyra.
Oh, Mithra or Pyra?
Yeah, Pyra. I think he was talking specifically about Pyra. He said her breasts were too distracting. It took away from the game.
Then maybe look into her eyes.
What the fuck?
Also, side note, when you're playing the game, the camera zoomed out. You can, unless you're going out of your way to zoom in on the character.
I will say though,
I mean, there are a couple of shots. There's a couple of shots.
They're definitely
going out
leaning over you.
They definitely draw your attention, and they could. You.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
And it's beautiful. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Like, is there something wrong with that? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't understand the agenda. Other than I think it's coming from a bunch of women who just don't want to, who have something.
I don't think it's women. I just think dudes trying to get laid.
Not all of it, but it is some
of it is women. But I think most gamer girls don't care, like real girls that game. They don't care about that stuff.
Oh yeah, I found a couple of them who were actually actively. The way they describe what's going on with Mortal Kombat 11 is benevolent sexism. That's the way they described it.
Yeah,
which makes sense. You're specifically catering to women. Because you think that sexy women is offensive, and I'm like, who the fuck are you to make that decision?
It's these hipster ass, bitch ass websites that we have.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time, to get people to change this much, it has to normally come from like an outside source. So you normally get this from the newspapers, from the media. You know, something that's able to spread the word more than someone on Twitter. Whatever, you know, it's normally these big sites, but I mean the industry's going fucking mad. I mean the next GTA will be like fucking Lego City Undercover, you know, some shit.
Hey, that's a great game, you son of a bitch.
No, Jesus Christ!
No, wait. I just mean in terms of if you run someone over, get back up. It's April the 2nd retro.
They'll never change that.
Our society anyway, keeps trying to cure nature. It's nature. Okay, you're not gonna change nature. You gotta change the nature of a hetero male liking the female form. You're not gonna change that. Okay, stop messing with nature. It's just the way it works, and there shouldn't be anything wrong about that. That's what I'm confused about. It's like, what is wrong with that? I don't understand. That's how we survive as a people. We procreate. Okay, like that's how we continue. This is all nature.
Women wouldn't fight in a bikini. Well, you ever seen the movie 300? Would men actually fight shirtless?
Yeah, like just all those shirtless dudes.
For some reason, it's only relevant when they need it for their argument. It's not relevant.
Double standards, right.
Yeah, pretty much. What was the joke that the T was making like a podcast or two ago? Fuck, I don't remember it. He was saying it throughout the whole podcast.
Well, anyway, let's get back to the point I actually wanted to take this discussion in, was that do you feel like the fact that we're not going to probably see this game until it comes out and somebody posts gameplay or a Nintendo specific channel reviews it, do you think that this is I'm feeling like the Wii generation. That's how this kind of feels to me. I don't know why this such a successful system, why they're not showing it. I don't know.
It's like WWE 2K18 and shit. Like, what are they afraid of?
I mean, people said, like I said, it seemed to run smooth and looks good in handheld. So
yeah,
it's an early build. It's a stupid excuse when you're already there showing it to people.
Yeah,
and the game's coming out soon. You telling me it's not gold yet?
Should be close.
Yeah, I'll say it comes out in less than a month.
I don't understand.
That's a little concerning.
Any thoughts, Robert? You've been pretty quiet.
He's drunk.
I mean,
already.
I agree that they shouldn't be changing outfits and shit and doing all that bullshit because it just doesn't make sense, especially when all the dudes are still shirtless and super jacked. You know, got chiseled 6 packs and shit, and
Well,
they look
You got
great.
way too many
That
words to describe that, man.
that ain't for me.
Why
to
you
look
what you
at.
trying to imply, Retro? It's 2019. Let this man do what he wants.
But you know, the women, nah, cover them all up. They all doesn't quite make sense.
Put him in a fucking hijab, boy, don't you?
I mean, you know, I don't fucking get it. You know,
Is that what we're headed towards? Like,
Probably.
because that's backwards. That's
We
you
keep
want to be
co-signing
moving
on this
away from
bullshit.
it.
We will be.
But then later on, you know, people are gonna start to get more, you know, sexual again, and they'll be like, "Wow, yo, we need to be more." You know, I gotta become more open, and then all of a sudden, it's gonna be a cycle, yo. But
Like,
yeah, I'm
I don't-
curious. What's it gonna? Is Bayonetta 3 gonna be affected?
Man.
Oh no! See, the Japanese developers, for the most part, ain't about that life. That's why hey, listen, Koei Tecmo has some dumb practices with DOA 6, but fuck it. And I think DOA 6 is a good example of what they could do. If people are offended so bad about breast jiggle physics and shit, guess what DOA 6 has? An option where you can turn it off. You can just turn off the breast physics.
Wait, you can turn it back on?
The most unused option ever in a
Yes.
video game. Turning off the breath physics.
Well, listen, if you buy DOA, that comes part of the package.
No, because I was always playing like Dead or Alive 5 with my brother, and like you can like move the PlayStation controller and like the breast jiggle and shit. And like now, out of reflex, when I win in 6, I jiggle my controller and like, oh fuck, it doesn't do that in this game. I think it's funny.
Is it on or off by default?
I thought it was on by default.
Anyway,
I downloaded like the free demo one you get off of Steam, but I haven't really played it much, so I don't know.
And I'm always even inclusive because I was actually disappointed that with characters like some of the guys, who are shirtless. I'm like, hey, why can't I make like the PAX dance? Shit like that.
that'd be actually funny.
We're sexist pieces of shit. That's why. All right, just move the fuck on. Listen, Europe is the best country. You happy now, Retro? Christ.
All right, so since Retro's talking,
oh no,
how do you feel about Borderlands 3 announcement trailer?
Nice transition, Juice. Nice.
Oh my god, I was so excited. Like I've been waiting like since they started teasing shit. Obviously, the first thing everybody's like, "Oh my god, is it going to be Borderlands 3? Is it going to be Borderlands 3?" But the problem was that they went out of their way for years to not say the next game was going to be Borderlands 3. So when you finally saw like the logo on the shirt, like, man, that was like bliss and shit. And then like they had some problems with the trailer, like it was kind of like cringy, awkward for them, I felt. And then the guy was all like, "Oh, we should have brought our own equipment," and then people started booing for the fact that he said that. The thing was all kind of messy and shit, but the trailer itself, oh my god, it was absolutely perfect. Like the locations are like ginormous, like bigger, like you got like new characters, and like the villains look amazing. Like it is everything I was hoping it to be. And some people are like, oh my god, I don't know which site or whatever it was that were like, but the game looks too much like Borderlands. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? You think like the fans of Borderlands want them to do anything else than this? I mean, they reworked like the lighting engine and shadow engine and shit to make sure the game is Borderlands, but like with next gen quality capabilities, graphics wise. Like it looks exactly what I wanted it to be. It looks, oh man, the trailer was like hype.
Yeah, I'm looking at the like the environments and stuff, and I wish somebody would have made a non-Borderlands game look like that because it looks fucking amazing. But there's no way I'm gonna play the game, so. But it looks visually, I absolutely love the art style, especially some of the environments. Like there's a futuristic like Neo. I don't know what that's called, but it looked like a neon light filled like skyscrapers, and then there's like
as well.
Yeah, it looks. I love the art style, but just
and the thing I like about it that made me happiest as a fan is that from the first game for the second game, they showed a lot of NPCs and characters from the old games, almost all of them that were in there, and they even like they weren't messing around. They were like, yeah, this villain won't be here anymore. You got new villains, so that people wouldn't be like talking shit and all the time. And they even brought back, and I like that, they even brought in characters they used in Tales from the Borderlands, which is like the Telltale game they made. And even those characters in this game, like they had like young characters that were like old now and shit. Like and everything, this is literally everything is bigger and shit. Like it's so good.
Yeah, that was pretty
It's quite funny.
surprising.
After the trailer, we like me and you were hyped about it. And I jumped straight back on Borderlands 2, and like how like how everyone says it looks doesn't look that much better than than the previous games. When you actually go back to Borderlands 2 and then look at Borderlands,
Yeah, I don't know what
3,
what are you talking about?
It's kind of like when we all said, how can Wind Waker look any better? And then you see Wind Waker HD, you go, holy shit!
Right. And
Honestly-
the funny thing is, you see Wind Waker, like the GameCube version. You see it in your head the way you think it looks HD.
Yeah.
Like so, it's like
The way the Wii U
doesn't
version
really look that much better. But go back and look at the GameCube version and tell me that shit.
Because at one point before, the first thing they ever said about Borderlands 3 is, I think it was like 2 or 3 E3s ago, they had like a graphical model, and they showed how they were trying to get the engine to make dynamic 4K shadows and lighting on a sphere so that they could keep the cel-shaded aspect of Borderlands, but really make like the technical graphics of it like next gen. And it's like you said, like if you go back to the old game, you see that shit is there now.
That's so funny that someone's thought that, because my very first thought is this a PS5 game? That was literally my first thought when I started watching it. Like, it looks too clean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
very good looking.
I started thinking, why isn't the new Beyond Good and Evil in the style? But that's just me. I wish he was in his similar visual
We don't
style.
talk about that game.
Neither does Ubisoft.
That
apparently.
game's never coming out. That game's gonna be mid to late next gen.
Ah, that's
probably.
a little. Come on, that much? They put that much time into it? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No, man.
That sounded
They've
bad.
gone
Wait a
quiet.
minute. You think they can put that much time into a game? No. Not Ubisoft.
I'd be shocked if it come out before like 2021. Maybe not shocked, but that's what I'm thinking.
I feel like it's a 2020 game. I think it'll be 2020.
And
I
definitely
think
not coming to Switch.
2023, yo. Watch.
2020. What is what? How were we really talking about the year 2020? What is going on?
And I'm taking back my statement a few years ago when they first showed it, and I said anything come to Switch. There's no way that's coming to Switch
Well, at this point, probably not.
I don't want it. I don't want it on it.
unless they.
Fuck.
I don't want that
different game.
trash.
Yeah, that game just looks.
You don't-
It's too ambitious. It's just.
It's
no way it's
overly
gonna be fun.
ambitious for a Beyond Good and Evil game. Why are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I remember when I said that, I was laughed at.
well, that was really before I seen the full,
Yeah, we.
the full extent.
His voice went all decrepit and shit.
Mhm. We hadn't seen the full array of their plans at that point. Once I
When
saw,
they stated in the beginning that we're gonna make a solar system with dynamic
Starlink has a
lighting,
solar
working
system.
shit, I was like, that shit is not gonna come to Switch.
Starlink
There's
has
no
a solar
way.
system.
Yeah, no, but Starlink doesn't have a revolving solar system that actually projects dynamic lighting on all
Well, they could
fucking planets
get
at
rid
the
of the
same
But is
time.
that game really gonna do all that at the end of the day? I doubt it.
It's gonna be like
No.
Crackdown, yo, where Crackdown they said shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
It'll be
Crackdown.
the
It's gonna be like Watch Dogs
Yeah.
promise compared to what
He's
it
Gamon's gonna
delivered.
be like, all right, what's his name? Ansel. All right, bro, it's time to rein this shit in now.
remember the Kobe Cat video with all the Ubisoft downgrades? There's
Mhm.
a lot of them. I mean, think about Division.
This probably won't even be a graphic downgrade. It'll be a scope downgrade.
Oh
Yeah, I think it'll
Alright,
be a
yeah,
scope
There's
downgrade.
gonna be 2 planets or something. Instead of 50, we're gonna have 3.
We don't need that
It's
shit.
just better. Do you remember? I mean, I don't know if you all. I mean, because I love the first Beyond Good and Evil, but I don't know if you remember all that leaked Beyond Good and Evil 2 footage. Everyone remember that? I don't know
Yeah,
if
it
it
was
was leaked. I
trash.
don't know if it was fan leaked at the end.
I don't
No, I
think it was
fucking- I
leaked.
loved it.
I think they put it out as like
Yeah, no, I loved it. It was more down to earth. It was
Yeah.
smaller and it looked like Beyond Good
that's
and
the
Evil,
way it should have
but
been. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that game. It's fucking trash. Yeah, but Borderlands 3. Yeah, going back to Borderlands 3, just quickly on my side, you know, that it was one of those trailers where if you haven't played Borderlands, then you just simply look at it and think that there's not much news going on there, but there's a lot that they showed in that trailer. I mean, some of the new vehicles and fucking guns on legs. I mean, come on, what fucking game is like
It's
guns
so
on
good.
legs? It's fucking amazing, so fucking good. And I feel like that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the type of crazy shit that's going to be going on in that game. I honestly can't wait for it. I think it's going to be great fun, and I'm going to be on. I don't know what I'm going to get it on. Like I said, my PC is trash. I need a new PC, but I can imagine me just getting it on the PS4 if it comes on the PS4, which I'm sure it will. And yeah, just playing on there. So if anyone's up, to join me as a Vault Hunter, I know Retro is.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah, we gotta plan that shit out. I want to play that with you guys. It's
Yeah.
gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm
But
really
that
down.
sucks because that means I gotta get it on the PS4 now.
I know, right?
Unfortunate for me is that like I played Borderlands some of Borderlands 1 and 2 for just solo. Like I didn't really get to play with other people and stuff. And so like I did enjoy it, but I played all of the Tales from the Borderlands series and I love those characters, and so at least watching this and seeing like Reese back and stuff, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's so cool. And so like I'm definitely gonna pick it up. And if we all play together, I'll that'd make it a lot better, the experience.
Did they even give a year? Because I didn't see anything.
No,
Well,
nothing at all. It's probably gonna be a year or two, I think, before it comes out.
Well, there's this leak in quotation marks for like they had it up on Twitter today that said that a skin pack whatever come out September 13th, and then they took it down really quick. And it is April Fool's technically, but the April Fool's joke was not the date; it was the other thing. And so maybe some people are thinking that maybe it's coming out September 13th.
Yeah, September
Well,
13th,
but
2020.
about the,
Yeah.
about the skins, though, they did say they were
the
gonna
Claptrap
make
Labo
new
was
skins. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. I was just talking about the Claptrap Labo. I think was the April Fool's, wasn't it? Is that what you're talking about, Rob?
No. Hold on, I'm gonna send it. Hold on.
Because I was gonna say it's just that they did say they were gonna release new skins for the older games, so maybe it's in relation to that. It doesn't necessarily need to be for Borderlands 3, unless what you saw stated that.
Oh, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to find what I was looking at again.
Because and that's one thing I was disappointed in, though, is the fact that when they said they redid, which was cool, a lot of the aspect, because Borderlands 2 is like one of my top 10 all-time favorite games. Borderlands 1 is not a very good game because it's very different. And they said they made a lot of changes to make it more similar, like even like a map, the game didn't have that. But I feel like that is something that we say it a lot, but that should have been on the Switch, I feel.
They should have had. I
the
thought they
hell,
were gonna.
Robert?
I thought the announcement was gonna be the old game
What?
on Switch.
Robert,
There you go. That's the tweet.
So did we discuss
What the fuck is going on with that?
the games coming out in April for Switch?
Yeah, I was gonna get back to that, but we got
Oh, okay.
sidetracked
I was
twice now.
I couldn't remember. We
should definitely. hit
Robert was
that.
out here trying to steer the conversation in the right direction. You fucking asshole. Oh, jeez.
So, anybody else have any Borderlands 3 thoughts before we go to the April release schedule for the Switch? Looking,
I
whatever.
didn't see. The only thing I have to say is I didn't see a wall in that trailer. That's what I'm a little disappointed about. I didn't see a wall in that trailer.
I don't know that reference. So
It's not a reference. It's political and it's arguably offensive.
Oh,
okay.
jeez. Oh,
So,
jeez.
so
I got it.
So April, this is like the best example or best third-party support for a month that a council's ever gotten, apparently. And this wasn't an April Fool's joke. This was like last week.
Any console has ever gotten?
That's kind of
The
what
thing
it said.
that bothered... Are you talking about the tweet again?
Yeah.
The thing that bothered me...
I was like, God damn it.
The thing that bothered me about that tweet while I spoke up about it is that they said that and they showed a list of 13 games. those 13 games had 7 really old ports. So that leaves like 6 games. Out of those 6 games, there was fucking VR Labo. No, come on, nobody gives a shit. Don't give me that bullshit. And then there were like I think there were, in all honesty, 3 games maybe that were actually interesting, and those were all 3 indies, like the Steam World one and the Katana Zero one and another one. Don't
Steam
give
World
me that
1.
bullshit. Was like the best.
You can't count Steam World 1. Get the hell out of here.
That's why. So I said, like, come on, like I can give you a random fucking year of a random system is going to be almost just as interesting as that. So I picked, because this was a reply to OJ, I picked Wii U on purpose because now it's the worst system they ever made, the Wii U. So I knew that would be funny. And I picked a random year. And that random year had like that random month of April had like Child of Light and Batman Arkham and all that shit, you know, and those were like recent ports, like new shit, you know. And then like a bunch of other games like Lego Hobbit and shit and Spider-Man, some bullshit. And then I gave that as a joke because I knew, like, you know, come on, it's basically the same level. And then in the same tweet, I also gave like the Switch 2017, which was fucking killer, you know, that month. It had like Mario Kart and all kinds of bullshit. And then like that gets ignored, and you just say, oh, but like, oh, you see these games, this is trash, bitch. You're defending Labo and 8 ports. Come on, not that good.
PS2 ports, PS2 remastered.
Where's the actual list? I'm trying to find the fucking thing.
I didn't say like all those games were bad. Come on, Darksiders War Master is on there. They're coming to the Switch is fucking amazing, you know.
But the game's
there were a lot
800
of
years
good
old.
games on there. But don't pretend it's like the best month we've seen in years when like there's barely anything new or major. Like you guys said, Mortal Kombat 11. We didn't even have the right to see Mortal Kombat 11.
Facts, man. Hashtag facts.
Hashtag.
Yeah, I thought Retro was like agreeing because it had fucking Darksiders on it. So I'm thinking, yeah, he probably agrees with that statement. Just from Darksiders.
It's like how the one game he co-signed.
But really, I mean, for me, I couldn't even told you, other than Mortal Kombat 11, maybe I might have remembered Labo VR. I couldn't have told you any of those other games were coming out this month. So I mean, I'm not like in the know as much, I guess, as OJ, like following every game, you know. But it's like none of those. I looked at that list and I'm like, there's nothing on here noteworthy other than Mortal Kombat 11's a big deal because it's day and date, multi-plat, you know, pretty big franchise.
I buy everything that come out. I have zero interest in any of those games. Like, I think that says a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I saw that list, and it's just kind of like a lot of fluff, you know, just to be like, look at this caliber, you know. It's like a lot of fluff.
Yeah, it's exactly like you say. It's a lot of fluff. Because like at the same time, people saying the same fucking day. I think people saying, the Switch kind of needs like a review system because a lot of trash on the eShop. Yeah, no shit. If you're hyping all this shit up.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, with people thinking like, oh, this is an amazing month, and I mean, hey, more power to you, I guess. But like to me, it's just like I don't get it. Like it's like Yoshi came out technically not in April, so like the only thing I'm gonna buy for this month is Mortal Kombat 11 in like Box Boy. But like you're gonna count Box Boy as like holy shit, it's Box Boy. What the fuck? And
you buy like, MK11 on Switch?
Probably.
God damn.
I don't know. It's just my problem is I don't want to buy like PSN.
You don't want to buy WWE 2K18 or some shit.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna wait till at least see what.
I think Cuphead is like the only game I'm over.
Oh yeah, and Cuphead. I'm gonna pick up Cuphead. Yeah.
Those were the other two. Yeah, Cuphead and Box Boy.
But even still, like all these games you're mentioning would be amazing if you didn't never own another console. But you gotta weigh that in too.
And it's like you said, it's not just any other console this gen. It's like any other console ever.
Yeah, exactly. Ever. That'd be one thing if these are all like this gen ports, but they're not. We're talking some PS2 games and like, well, come on, man. Let's be real. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, nothing on that list looked like, oh my god, that's trash. Other than for me, Labo VR. I mean, it's not even.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're trash games. It's just like there's nothing to be excited about if you've been a gamer for a while.
Yeah, but I mean,
at least
better
not to
than.
make the claim that it's like one of the best
Yeah.
months ever, and like no,
It's nice to have a big selection of games, both old and new, of different genres and AAA, AA indie, whatever. So it's not bad looking at the list. It's not
a bad
it's
list.
not like, oh my god, the Switch is so great. Here's another example of why the Switch is so great. That's just all this is.
Yeah,
it's just silly, but
you know what I said, and I mean this, and nobody's gonna fucking deny this. And I told OG this. It's like, dude, if this list, these 13 games, would have been announced like in a month on the Wii U, you would not have had the same reaction. You know it.
No, all these old games. Can we get some new ones?
That's only platformers on that list.
I mean, let's just be honest. It's RPGs. He likes the fact that it's a bunch of RPGs. It doesn't matter if they're old or not. They are RPGs.
Right about that.
That's what it. That's a lot of this. That's what a lot of it's about.
People didn't. I don't understand how that's even still valid because RPG is not a genre. For one, RPGs is not a genre you can go through like 6 games in a month like that.
Right. It takes a while to get through an RPG.
I'm still playing fucking Tales of Vesperia from January. You think I don't know how the fuck it's like. That's not. Oh, you're probably gonna buy one of those and maybe like a platformer and that's it.
Right. So, 3 RPGs a year. That's
pushing it. The whole argument was we needed variety. I thought that was the whole argument.
Well, you got Final Fantasy X, you got Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy 12, you got Final Fantasy. Well, that's a lot of variety, man.
Hey, listen, man. All I need is a sequel Octopath Traveler, and then I'll have some real variety.
That's coming on the mobile phone. So. Did you see those bitches? I wanted to talk about that. Those bitches headlines and shit. Octopath is going to mobile. Stop lying. It's not this. They try to act like it was the same game. It's like it was the Switch game that was going to mobile.
No,
and they know that shit in their headlines. I was like, you fucking bastards.
There's no way that's an exclusive that's not going fucking mobile. That team might be making a mobile game.
They tried to make that seem like the case, and especially in their headlines and their titles and shit. When they could have easily put a new Octopath game coming to mobile in the title. That's all it would have took. Well, they just put Octopath going to mobile. You fucking whores.
Yeah, people eat that shit up as well.
It's ridiculous.
So speaking of RPGs, apparently Monolith Soft is openly hiring for a new Zelda game.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, just that was a better transition. Good job.
Down on these transitions tonight, man.
He's killing it.
So, what do you guys think about that? Do they now have a dedicated help the Zelda team, or are they making their own game? What do you think?
No, they have Monolith Soft is big enough. They can work on. They're only doing a part of the Zelda game. It's not like they're working on it. It's going to be their thing. It's going to be like Breath of the Wild, where they help out with certain aspects, and that's what they're hiring for.
It's going to be
because
Switch.
They're so stretched out. They're so kind of spread thin a little bit right now because they are making their action RPG that's I guess Zelda like, and they're working on another Xeno game. So they're just trying to get some extra help because they are doing 3 different things at once, basically.
I'm going to be like the positive guy, man. I hope, because I think Nintendo themselves, they're always working on the new. Come on, it's like consoles. They're already working on the new console. They're working on the new Zelda. Yeah. I think and I hope that thing is for their own project. Like Nintendo's been doing that a lot more lately. Giving IPs to other things. And as Monolith, when you see what Monolith can do, what they've done with Xenoblade, they gave me fucking button titles and everything. If what they can do, I want them to have full control of their own Zelda game. I want it to be that.
But this ain't it, Chief.
I want it to be that.
I don't need.
I understand it. I don't have a problem with that either. I just feel like because obviously we already are getting God damn it, what's the Game Boy one? We're getting the remake of
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. They're not going to be. I know Nintendo's working on a Zelda game. There's no way that they're going to have 3 Zelda games. They're going to be working on 3 different Zelda games. I don't think that's going to be.
To be fair, I'm assuming Link's Awakening is as close as done at this
No,
point.
I understand that. What I'm saying is the fact that we're going to get 3 Zelda games on 4 if you count Breath of the Wild. I think that would be a bit much.
I don't see them just giving them the reins to make a Monolith Soft Zelda game. I
Well, they
listen,
gave the
I
reins to
I gotta
Capcom at one
come out-
point. So
Yeah, I
Capcom
gotta
pretty
come out
much.
to say, I gotta come out to say that I am not sure that I would want, and this sounds crazy, I am not sure that I would want Monolith Soft to be in full reigns of a Zelda title.
Oh,
I wouldn't either.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
know.
either. No, I actually would not.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I've seen no evidence of them.
because they don't know how to go
being
underwater
able-
either.
Maybe
Dave,
it would, but as of right now, I don't know. It doesn't look like to me. It's like I don't know. They're two very different like studios. I don't know.
Like their honestly, I don't really love their art style, their art direction, other than for the characters and
It would, yeah, it would,
And
it
for
would
them-
need to be Nintendo would need to be very hands on.
I'm sure they could do more than what they've done.
But like, what kind of shit is this? Yeah, such a
Yeah,
lack,
I know,
such a lack of
I
faith.
know.
Yeah, what a vote of confidence.
Yeah, but
that
what
is.
have we seen? What have we seen from Monolith to say that they could do a Zelda title?
Well, they only made one series. Well,
they helped on Breath of the Wild for one, I would say, right?
I think
They helped with the landscape. They helped with the geometry. You know,
Yeah,
the
I
world
think
building.
I think at this point with that talent, I think they can program a character that can like run and jump. You know, like
Have you
you
seen-
know what I
have you
like?
seen- have
You
you
know what
seen-
I like about them and why I
Seen
want them
their
to do
characters
this.
run and jump?
I mean,
Yeah, but that's
that's
what
they have like zero animation jump.
jump 50 feet and shit.
The reason why I fucking look at the wild to the Monolith off. Fuck you. Who you think to thank for that? You think it was a Numa? Fuck our Numa. It went on Numa.
Yeah.
Look at their.
But they're
I
the reason
hope-
we couldn't swim underwater, though. Probably. I mean, Monolith.
I just hope.
It's been time they can grow.
I'm looking forward to their action RPG game, but maybe if they would take very good care of the Zelda franchise. But if you just look at moving through the environments in all three Xenoblade games, it's kind of like it's the size of the environment seems to be the thing they go for, not actually being able to get through the environments. Other than the skulls, it's kind of a
Wait a
kind
minute,
of dated.
I thought you loved the movement in X.
I love the skulls, but just the character on the ground, like for me, it feels like a very dated
Yeah, it is.
mechanic for running
You know,
around.
I'm joking a little. Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to, create a Xenoblade Zelda. It's not what I don't believe that would happen. It's just that they would have to fundamentally change a lot compared to what they've done already. So I would just need to see it. That's all. I'd have faith.
There's
I
no
would
reason
just
for it.
need
Nintendo's
to
got
see it.
Nintendo got a very capable Zelda team. I don't
Yeah.
see a need for Monolith to make their own unless they're making their own, like what the old handheld was, like a top-down style Zelda or something. But I don't know.
I
I
think
just
it
think
depends on their action RPG. Because I feel like that should
Yeah.
be pretty different from the Xenoblade
yeah.
games. So let's see how that turns out, what that looks like,
Yeah, I agree.
and then I could be
I
like,
agree.
all right, these guys are capable to do something like a Zelda
Mhm.
at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
Terrell, thoughts?
On what?
Would you want them to make a?
I feel like I'm not the person really to ask because I mean it's not like I don't play Zelda like that.
Fuck
I mean,
Zelda.
You'd be the first person to ask, because then would you play a Zelda game if Monolith Soft made it?
I mean, listen, I played Breath of the Wild. There's your answer.
Yeah.
You already know. I'd be
What if they made
interested.
Zelda a little more in line with Mithra and Pyra?
What do you mean physically? I mean,
Yeah,
I like the way Zelda Breath
This
of the
guy.
Wild.
This
I
guy.
love her design in Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. The Twilight Princess one is I don't.
Hashtag Zelda booty.
The way I was gonna say, the way Juice
It
is
is
just like
fun.
asking-
Let's go.
the way Juice is just like saying, "Okay, Terrell, what if you slap some nice pair of titties on her? Would you buy it then?"
Fuck the gameplay. Look at the titties.
That reporter that tries to lead you into some drama and shit. Like oh, reporter TMZ
He's gonna
today.
set you up, man.
Yeah.
you don't have to set him up. He sets
Ju-
himself up.
Juice is like the FBI and shit. You set
Yeah.
set people up.
Just remember, Terrell,
What?
Women have large breasts. That's a quote from the Insane Game Freak. Women have large breasts.
Oh, that's fine. Listen, and remember, Juice, you can never have too much ass. You have a very weak limit, and we need to get your resistance up, sir. Among other things.
All right, so next, there's no transition to this. Apparently, did Sega officially announce a mini Genesis?
They apparently had a bunch of announcements like Friday night that I completely missed. But yeah, they have an official mini console.
That price though.
It's like $90.
Is that going to count battle all the generic Genesis consoles been on the shelves for 10 years now?
I guess because they just kind of outsource those, from what I understood.
To AT Games or however you pronounce their name, at Games. I don't know.
They ditched them, didn't they? They got rid of them.
Yeah, they got rid of them for this. But here's the problem. I'm glad we're talking about this. This is the problem. You have saturated the market with such trash in those AT Games. It's hard to say, all right, I'm gonna spend $90 on your Genesis console at this point. That's the problem.
It's the 3-button controller too, so that limits a lot of the games.
Well, most of the games were pretty much built around that thing, so.
But still, not that you need like Street Fighter, but I'm sure there was other fighters that could have used.
What are the? I'm trying to remember what were the. Damn it! Where's the list of games? I was like, oh, here we go.
This is saying $80 with 40 games.
They've shown 10 games so far, haven't they?
They've only showed 10 games.
They showed 10 and they said 40.
Yeah, it's 40 going to be 40 total, which is great. That's a great number.
I don't know. Does the 40 games make up for the higher price point?
Well, the Super NES was 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's quality and it has twice as many games as Super Nintendo does. Yeah. So if it's quality, it's worth it. But I think it's gonna be. I think that's a fair price. I think it's worth it. But the problem is they, dictated the market already as far as what people are willing to pay for the consoles, and they were not good consoles. They were pretty, crappy builds and. Yeah. The audio was really off. The emulation wasn't very good. There wasn't any options or anything, So that's the one problem. Had they not had those crap, other plug and play systems out, then nobody would be saying anything about this price. And but it's just
another thing from my side as well is I think this is where you know how big a Sega fan I am. I think this is where you might start seeing some of the cracks in the Mega Drive and Genesis library in terms of those must play, those really classic Mega Drive games. Now, I
was gonna say, do you want to go through the first 10 they announced?
Yeah, I didn't even look at it. I just know it was 10. So
okay,
whatever.
There's one for each region. There's
they got one for Japan. They got one for US. We'll just do US because that's the one we're most concerned with. Altered Beast, Castlevania Bloodlines.
Trash.
Comic Zone, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine,
Trash.
Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, I like Echo.
That's good.
Gunstar Heroes,
beautiful.
Shining Force,
lovely.
Sonic the Hedgehog,
good.
Space Harrier 2, and Toe Jam and Earl.
Those are some good games.
And Toe Jam and Earl, yeah.
Space Harrier 2.
For the first 10, that's not bad.
Castlevania Bloodline is pretty good though.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, that's a good inclusion.
That's a good list.
Yeah.
So I'm
that's only like 10 games.
That's only in the fourth. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Because
what?
Who really likes Altered Beast? I thought that game was trash. I don't get it.
I loved it back in the day, but you can't go back to it now.
Yeah,
it's
that's
fucking
the
garbage.
thing.
Absolute garbage.
It's a niche
love it
fan
back
base.
then. I thought it was cool. I definitely thought it was a cool, setup or whatever to the game. But going back, that's rough.
I agree.
My chest.
I tried playing that a while ago, and it just I think it's a rhythm or something. I don't know, but it's still I feel it's still something that should be on this.
Oh no, it should be on there because it's one of those classic games. Yeah, obviously it has to be on there.
It's just dated.
Wasn't there first Sonic the Hedgehog on the list? I thought I saw.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mentioned it. It's only For some reason in Japan, they've already announced Sonic 2, but they didn't announce Sonic the Hedgehog in
Gotta
Japan.
have Sonic 2.
You know, Sonic 2 and 3 with Knuckles.
I need, I need the
like, come
whole
on.
set.
You
Goddamn.
know they're gonna be on there.
Just
How
chuck
dare
every
you.
fucking Sonic game on there. Fuck it. Just Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles.
3D
and,
Blast.
Hey, relax.
Sonic Pinball. That's all right. Chuck it on there. Fucking
Pinball.
It should have all the Sonic games on it.
It should. It
£80.
should.
£80. Fucking 40 games. They should have all the Sonic
I
games
hope
on
they have
there.
the Jurassic Park game on there because that was pretty cool. They probably won't.
Jurassic Park for Genesis.
Mhm.
You like that too? I love that game.
Yeah, I liked it better than the Super NES
Oh, the
one.
Super Nintendo one was garbage
Dude,
compared to that.
I could not beat that for the life of me. Yo. I'm trash at that game.
Jurassic Park for Genesis.
Yeah, I'm trash at that game.
I love that game. It's definitely a tough game, but it's very rewarding, and it definitely felt like it was easily one of the best like Jurassic Park games out there because you played as Dr. Grant. You didn't completely do movie stuff, but you felt like you were in that world. I don't know. It was I thought one of the best games.
That X-Men game was really cool. We could be Gambit and
another
one where the Super NES version sucked.
I got that up on my shelf upstairs, man. It's fucking off the chain. That's right.
Aladdin for Genesis.
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah, it was good, yeah.
That was a
Aladdin
hard.
So what else we got? We can get like Streets of Rage, we can get Golden Axe, we can get Strider, and the Shinobi games, Shadow Dancer.
man.
Shadow
It
Dancer.
has the right
Dancer.
selection of games, I
What
think.
was the? I'm
That's
trying to look to
pretty
see what the Japanese.
Streets of Rage 1 through 3 obviously gonna be there. You know.
The only 3 games that are different on the Japanese one is Powerball, Puyo Puyo 2, something called Rent a Hero, and then the other one was Mado Monogatari Ichi, which I guess is a very Japanese Genesis game.
Yeah.
And for me in retro, we can get World Heroes. That'd be fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So was the Mega Drive shape different in the UK versus the US?
You had like a red.
It's
You had
shaped
like
the
a
same.
red
It just has some
bar.
variants. Yeah.
Yeah, you had like a red bar and stuff.
Do you
on
think
the
they're
front.
gonna think all
They,
the
they
games?
have shown 2 pictures, I think, of both the.
I'll post them.
It seems like I don't know if there's a delay with somebody. There's I feel like a lot of talking over each other tonight.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think there's some delays
There
going
has to be a delay or something.
Good drinking.
But anyway,
that might just be. I'm sorry.
I think it's on your end. But
Shinobi 3. Oh my god.
Ooh, yeah, baby.
Is it going to have the 50 hertz issue for the US and where games aren't going to be at the right frame rate because of the 2 regions?
I think the way I'm not sure because I never opened mine yet, but I think the way they did it for the Super Nintendo is that they made it all 60. But I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, because like modern television standards are 60 hertz. So, and that's all.
They still have 50 hertz TV broadcasts.
I mean, yeah, I know, but I'm saying
That's
So, I
just a
don't know.
Sony
Hopefully they don't mess that
cheap
up.
Station 1 problem. That's not a that's not gonna be a Sega problem.
Well,
Sega was all about their blast processors. So
Could it be the PlayStation could have kind of ruined the market for many consoles?
that's another thing. I didn't even think about that, but that probably hurt the market a little
I think it could.
bit.
that's debatable.
I wouldn't say so. No.
I mean, people still
not
bought.
But the Genesis has way more nostalgia factor
Yeah,
than PlayStation 1 does. So
And
That
a lot
should also
more
help.
games
And a
that
lot
are
more
worth
games
putting
that-
on it.
right.
That's
And also
still-
the emulation is
ass
good.
because they're fucking. They're not 3D games. They're like ass and don't.
They
age.
got Jumpin' Jack Rabbit and shit. Yeah. You got good games.
It's Mr. Driller to you, sir.
Nobody want to play no Mr. Driller in 2019. Come on,
Hey,
quit playing,
relax,
man.
Joe. Relax. Some people like that game.
So,
Why you gotta hate, man?
It's a good game. It's just nobody wants to play that shit right now.
He's a hater, y'all.
It'll be the full lineup will definitely determine. I think if it continues to be good, whereas the PlayStation's was the first 5 was like the top 5, and then the rest were that they announced after that were all like lower and lower tier.
Hey, man, the fact that the Sega Genesis has Sonic already beats the PlayStation because the PlayStation didn't even have Crash or Spyro. Like,
That shit have Fantasy Star.
How dare you?
You gotta have Contra Hardcore on there. You gotta have the games, the classics.
Hey,
Contra Hardcore
listen,
is
you
like
even-
an amazing game still. Like that game is beautiful.
You even got to have EA games on there. We got to have Road Rash. We got to have Desert Strike. I want.
Oh, yeah?
Major League
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah.
I want all that shit. They were classic.
We'll discuss it further once we get more games. But so clocked it. I got to ask you: have you listened to people's impressions from PAX of Streets of Rage 4 demo, another game that wasn't allowed to be filmed? I've heard 2 people give their hands on, actually 3, and they were all raving about the game. So I'm curious: have you listened to anyone's take on the game?
I haven't listened. I've read some reports and they're all saying that it plays great. Animation's lovely, backgrounds are gorgeous. Music's not quite there, but I think we expected that for the moment. They said one cool feature I like the sound of was in the original games when you done your special, you would lose health, right? A lot of old arcade games done that. But in this one, you lose a health, but it's a bit like Street Fighter, where if you don't get hit, it charges back up, so it gives it a bit more incentive to want to use your one-off specials and stuff, which is nice. That should be cool. I saw, like, when I was watching the trailer again, I wasn't as impressed with the new like combos and stuff, because I would have liked to see this evolve a lot more as well. Because when you play 2-player in the old Streets of Rage games, you could like pick each other up and throw each other. You would do like a somersault in the air and then a fly kick and stuff like that. And it would have been nice to perhaps see a lot more of this. It could be there. I mean, we've already seen the second gameplay trailer, so it'd be nice to see it has a lot of 2-player attack combos together and stuff. Be able to, like, I don't know, to like throw someone in the air, then the other person jumps up in the air, grabs them, and like, I don't know, power drives them into the floor or something. Or stuff like that. That'd be fucking awesome. But all that's yet to be seen, and obviously we got to wait for new characters and stuff. So
does let me just ask, just hearing. Well, I heard, God, who was it? I think Nintendo World Report, and then the Game Explain guys, and I feel like there was one other. Maybe I was reading a tweet. I mean, they all said it was like their game of PAX for them. Seeing it in motion, how fluid it was, how gorgeous it looked. Does that make you any more, even though it's not the game you wanted or thought it should be, does it make you any more maybe excited than you were hearing those reports?
No, not at all. Unfortunately, not. I think it's going to be a solid 2D beat 'em up. But yeah, I thought I got these points across in my video, man. I know this is why you bring it up, but
well, that was before all these reports came out, so that's why I'm asking.
I think when I was talking to like Grim Patchy in my comments section, and and he was fighting back and stuff, and it's because I hold Streets of Rage up on this pedestal of a Mega Drive classic and a Sega classic and a AAA game for this time. Yeah, I really. Streets of Rage 1 and 2, I fucking love so much. I think they're some of the best 2D beat 'em ups ever made. I think they were always better than Final Fight, even as much as I love Final Fight. I think they were better than Captain Commando and Knights of the Round and all the other 2D beat 'em ups I played. So I hold it up there, and I try to make like comparisons, as if to say, let's just say Nintendo never made another Zelda game, right? After Link to the Past, we had Zelda 1, which was phenomenal for this time, Zelda 2, and then we had Link to the Past, which blew everyone's fucking mind, right? And they came back then 25 years later, right, and gave us Link to the Past pretty much playing exactly the same, but in HD. And it was a new game, new levels, whatever, but in HD, with a slightly different art style, but it played pretty much exactly the same. And after playing Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Link to the Past, waiting 25 years for Zelda greatness, and then you get more of the same, which is fine. We're going to play it. We're going to enjoy it. It's hard to be excited.
I don't know. I mean, that's a weird comparison, because to me, I still would love, like, I always wanted them to make an HD top down, which we're getting in Link's Awakening. But so I don't know, if for me, without ever having seen 3D Zelda or experiencing it, maybe I would feel like you're feeling.
Yeah, but this is it. So between Link to the Past and now, we've had all these games. It's not just Zelda. We've had everything else has changed normally, right? We've had Mario change, we've had Metroid change, we've had Pilot Wings, Wave Race, yeah, F-Zero. any other Yoshi, Kirby, whatever Nintendo franchise you can make, they all progress, yeah, as they have done. Nothing else in the industry has changed apart from Zelda, and then it comes back like that. That's the comparison I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like to compare it to where you give that example, but there's been 3D Zelda games, so I can't honestly tell you how I would feel if that had happened. But I can tell you Yoshi stayed in 2D, and they added like a 3D environment to walk through on a 2D plane. But I mean, I guess that game never got out of the 2D realm. So, and I'm absolutely fine with that. So I'm just curious. I'll give you a chance to get your point across. But T, I know you're a Streets of Rage fan. So what do you think of Streets of Rage 4? What you're hearing people say about it?
That I haven't heard any impressions. This is the first I've heard about it. I knew it was at PAX and stuff. But this makes me even more psyched because, obviously I wanted the game to be good, and it sounds like it's good, great even, which is music to my ears. But speaking of music, that's such a big part of Streets of Rage, and it's, we pretty much knew they weren't going to be able to duplicate the music, especially from Streets of Rage 2. Just music, that game has just a perfect soundtrack, and that's going to be hard to redo with not the original people anyway, especially so.
And I guess they were asked about if they had the original composer, and they couldn't comment. So I'm like, why wouldn't you be able to comment? Well, yes or no. It seemed like either way.
Yeah, there was something weird
you?
about that before, right? Like about whether they had the original. I think we asked, or there was the question around the time the game was announced.
Maybe they're trying, and it hasn't been sealed the deal or something. Because I don't know why they wouldn't be able to say.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make sense if you weren't trying to get them, and if you didn't have them, why be secretive about it? So it just seems kind of strange. So maybe they are actually trying to work something out with them.
And the funny thing is, I don't know if just getting back to the Genesis real quick, that Japanese photo shows the 6-button controller, but the article I found, maybe it was a generic photo, had a box with a 3-button controller. So I'm wondering if I
was trying to remember RGT's video because he was talking about it, and I felt like he said something about the 6-button controller in that video. So
maybe that was just like a photo of one of the other generic Genesis ones.
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been.
So let me ask Clocked at this: did you play Castlevania 64?
Yeah, I played that shit. I'm a complete.
Would you rather have a okay 3D Streets of Rage 4 or a really great 2D Streets of Rage 4? Just out of those two options.
I'd rather have a really good 3D Streets of Rage from the Yakuza team or Platinum Games.
Yeah.
Right. See, that's the thing, right? The thing is that we've had the ability, we've seen games do the 3D beat 'em up stuff. Well, they just weren't strictly beat 'em up games. And we had an era where they tried to do semi 3D like Fighting Force and whatnot, which was actually supposed to be Streets of Rage, but they pulled the IP in the development, and so they just changed the name to Fighting Force. But so that era when we tried to do 3D beat 'em ups, they were not very good. They were pretty bad. But at this point, post Shenmue, we've been able to do that. So I would love to see. I'm with Clocked It. Like I love how Streets of Rage looks, the new one. But of course, I would definitely love to see somebody try to do it because I think it could be done, and I would love to see how that looks.
I'll tell you what looks better.
But obviously, this is a small team. This is a small budget. But I'd like to see somebody put some money behind Streets of Rage and do a 3D version, for sure.
The 9 Monks of Shaolin.
Yeah.
That I think it was. That looks. If you haven't seen it yet, go and look at 9 Monks of Shaolin, right? And that's still on a 2D plane, but it looks infinitely better.
It can be done.
In my opinion.
Even if you
yeah.
do it in the controlled camera way of a fighting force, it still can be a pretty good, I think, execution.
You know, I need to keep on, stressing this. I'm not hating on Streets of Rage 4 coming back. The game is here. It looks like it's going to be fun. I said I was going to get it. I'll play it. Like everyone else. It's just for me, and it's always about me personally as a gamer. I think I should be for everyone really. It's about your expectations and stuff. And for me, Streets of Rage is that type of series that was up where. So it was disappointing to see it come back just as it did. That's
For
all.
me, it's similar for me anyway. It's similar to Donkey Kong. Would I love another Donkey Kong Country game? A 2D,
Oh,
of course. But man, I would also really love another shot at 3D Donkey Kong as well. So, and it can be done. It can be done well. Rare just tried to do too much in DK64.
Yeah, that's kind of. I think that's where the disconnect is for me. Is I don't want them to try to do a 3D Donkey Kong. I'm perfectly happy with the 2D. When Returns was announced, I was so excited for it to be an actual Donkey Kong Country game. So, but I mean, everybody's got their own opinions. And retro, I'm not sure what your stance is on beat 'em ups.
Well, I've played them a lot, but I was more on the Super Nintendo, and I always enjoy them. But I feel for me, a beat 'em up is something I always play with my brother. That's why I enjoyed them so much. By myself, a 2D beat 'em up, like Knights of the Round, I always love that shit. And like Legend is like a Super Nintendo game, which is like very dear to my heart, but it's not really a good game. It's like I said, I just enjoy playing those games with others. So even like Double Dragon Neon, I think it was called. I was so excited for that. I think it's so cool. But by myself, I don't see myself playing something like that by myself. I don't like. It needs to be like a two-player game. So the fact that they announced a new Streets of Rage, it doesn't do much for me, really.
Yeah, that's true though. The Turtles arcade game and the Super NES game with co-op, absolute blast. Playing them by myself.
Turtles in Time.
That shit got old, for me.
They brought all those back, with just a similar type of approach that they've done to Street Fighter 4, and it's Street Fighter 4, Streets of Rage 4. And it's, you didn't see people going nuts that much once they've saw it and played it. Who's talking about Double Dragon now? Who's talking about that Turtles game for fucking Ubisoft? And
well, what about the one that Turtles game Platinum game though?
That game is trash. That's why
Platinum made a Turtles game in 3D.
There's something up with that. Though. I feel like they were restricted or something.
That was Platinum in name only. That wasn't Platinum.
Yeah. There's something.
That was just forgettable. I would love. I mean, honestly, if they put an amazing art style with a 4-player Turtles game like the old arcade game, I'd be there day one.
But when you talk about because Clock is disappointed with the evolution and shit of the game, and when you're talking about I think at one point they made like recently a Double Dragon 4, which I was like, why would you make this? Which felt like a downgrade from
like
Neon.
Game, didn't it?
Yeah, no, but like, and that they call it the sequel. But to me, like Double Dragon Neon was like the perfect evolution for me from Double Dragon, where you keep this beat 'em up aspect, but you update the graphics into something really pleasing to the eye and everything, and then you add stuff to it like collectibles and new moves and shops and all that kind of stuff. And that felt like to me, that's why I like it so much. It felt like what a beat 'em up at that point should be. So I do understand why Clockhead might be disappointed with the fact that he had specific ideas of what it should be and that they didn't reach it. It's just that personally I don't care too much.
All right. And I'm sure Robert or Terrell's never played.
No, I never.
So
nah. Wait, what?
What else? God, I feel
y'all
like
ain't
there was another topic.
play that.
When you gonna talk about Yoshi? Y'all first impression?
We can talk about that too, but I felt like there was something.
Well, let's go look at Clock this list because he was the responsible one.
We already hit that. We already hit all that. We already hit all those.
You already hit that. Huh?
That's what they
Yeah,
said.
we hit it.
I told you not to tell him, Juice.
Oh, I will. I do want to share a story from the other night using the Switch online app for Splatoon and Smash. Red Knight wanted to try it because he's got Amazon Prime, so he's got Nintendo Online now. So for Splatoon, I had forgotten that you can only use the chat in a private match or league battles, so you can't just like jump into what's the main mode called? Turf War.
Turf War, yeah.
And then your friends jump in, and if you can't talk to them if it's just if it's a public lobby, you have to just go to a private lounge and play. We had 4 people. We're playing in these big maps with 4 players, and so we played 4 matches of that. It was fine. The quality was a little bit lower than I remembered. Then we jumped into Smash, and it kept like the first match I got dropped out where my app just showed the main screen. I was out of the chat group. And to get back in, I had to leave the arena, rejoin, and wait for the little icon to ask me if I wanted to do the chat. So then I do the chat. So then we're fighting, and then also we couldn't hear Red for the whole match. Me and Cray were talking like, well, I wonder if he got dropped. Match got over, and then all of a sudden he's talking, and so he had gotten booted, and then we did like a third match, and then him and Cray, I'm the only one in the lounge, and him and Cray were both gone, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this. I closed the app, turn. I was like, I'll play one more, and then I'm bailing. So it was a bad test of they obviously haven't done anything because I don't even remember doing that before. I'm not sure if we tested it with Smash specifically, but yeah, it was a pretty bad
Smash.
That was a pretty bad test. And
I was surprised. I don't know if it's because of the app or not of Splatoon implemented that, but I was playing Yoshi and I actually saw an invite on my screen that I was invited to join you guys in Splatoon.
Yeah, I got an invite too.
Yeah, it shows you an invite, but you can't accept an invite. You can't. I just ended a match. I was trying to get warmed up. I seen the invite. I couldn't leave the lobby. I had to wait for the match to start, play the match, then back out and go search for the lobby. So I mean, it's partially, it's like one toe in the water there, but I was more the point of the story was how bad the connection was, and people kept getting dropped out of during Smash, and it's like, really, like this is what it's at. What, 5-6 months later, it was a bad test, and I honestly would never use it again unless there was an update and someone was like, hey, let's just try it for the hell of it. It's very piss poor. So yeah, that's bring up Nintendo Switch Online. I know it's been a while since we kicked it. It's still down. I figured I'd give it a few more kicks. It was a terrible showing. Absolutely fucking embarrassing, really. How the state of it for its biggest title. Or, well, I guess Splatoon's probably. No, I'd say Smash is the biggest, right? Online.
One of the ones that we needed the most, you could say.
Yeah.
So do we feel now, after all this time, anything else is going to happen with this app or anything else?
Oh, there'll be one other thing that'll happen to it, Glock.
They're adding that Smash, whatever Splatnet type thing where you can share replays and.
No. That's the thing that's going to happen is they're going to kill it. That's the next thing we'll get.
Yeah,
and then after that we'll move forward.
We thought it was already dead.
It's in a lot of ways.
Like if they got that job posting, if they actually hire a person and give them the power, I think they'd have to. I think they would want to. If I was that person, I'd want to start fresh and say, yeah, we're starting from scratch, because the base is. I thought the base was kind of there and just add some messaging and invites, but if you can't even have the chat work throughout a 5-minute match in Smash, yeah, you got some big problems there. So yeah. And no, I forgot. No one else from here was there. It was Cray that was there when I started talking about it. For some reason, I thought Clock was the other one there. And then it wasn't the best. Red Knight likes to troll when he plays Smash, even more than Retro. So
I don't think I troll when I play Smash.
I don't think Retro
he
troll.
said at the edge of the screen, half where you can only see half his character. When you came at him, he would either sidestep or dodge one back onto the screen, grab you, and throw you off the screen, KO you. He did that.
That's some pussy
He
fighting.
had 30 KOs when I hit 5 after like 4 or 5 matches.
God dang.
And it's like, I'm like, really? That's what you're gonna do? It's funny the first 2 times. So yeah, that was I never seen anybody do that before with Samus and she's got the grab that has the beam reach. So even if you're kind of further away, getting grabbed.
Retro, he just compared you to that fuckery. Just I want you to know.
I know, right? What the fuck?
Retro does like to hang off the side of the map and shoot projectiles, though. He does. He does find that fun.
I don't
Depends
know.
on the character. For example, if I have Cloud, like his main thing, like
You
one
like
of his
to
moves, for
charge.
example, is the limit break. Like I use the limit break because Cloud doesn't have the best recovery. For example, with the limit break, you can get it from almost anywhere. For
You get it
example,
by attacking, and it builds up when you attack, and you can build it up and fight at the same time. Just
yeah,
saying.
but it depends on what you want to do with your attacks, though. But I stand somewhere and I charge. Nothing prevents you from coming and kick my ass. I mean, you know how long it takes for
The problem-
you know how long it
Yeah.
takes for Cloud to
that's
step
what got
out of
me in
that.
trouble with that fucking balloon
What
fight.
do you call it?
I got thrown off the stage.
Bullshit ass
What did
stage.
Twilight call that?
What,
Camping? Yeah.
Yeah, but is it really camping when I'm not shooting and I'm just charging? You can just hit me.
It's camping. You're just not causing me any damage yet. But the goal of you
It's
charging is to cause me damage.
He can let you do it. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Well, listen, Juice don't want to come over and hit you, but he wants to complain about when you do it. It's weird.
You know what's the thing about stuff like that? Like in the past when we'd play Street Fighter 2 with my brothers, like we had like one of my brothers, his thing would be like to take like Ryu can stand at the other side of the map and just fucking Hadouken all the goddamn time. And then I'd be like, dude, it's cheating because you have to like perfect fucking be like a platforming god to jump over those Hadoukens to get to him, And it's the same excuse as everything. It's like if you can do it in the game, you just gotta like get over it.
That is true.
It's really fun to play against people like that. Really fun.
Hey man, you gotta get good.
I had a friend who would take Dalzim and do his down slide over and over and over, and there's almost nothing you could do about it. He could win every match because like you had to, even if you're landing a drop kick at some time, it would hurt you instead of him. Like he had a time where he could just
trash.
He could win almost every match doing that, and he did it.
Side note, Retro, you gotta understand this is the same man who when we started playing Smash 4 had this whole big thing about you not grabbing as often. That was a problem.
Well, he did a tournament where you can only grab 3 times.
I wanted to see. I wanted to point out that people were over relying on grabs,
Part of the game.
and there was people really got exposed for, But anyway, that's a completely separate issue.
I mean, to be fair, you gotta be good at grabbing, You gotta be good at it. So it's
I think Robert got mad because it was like, "Yo."
But see, now this kind of stuff, I would like use it for psychological warfare. I'm like, okay, Juice hates it if I go here and I charge. So I go there and I charge, and then you lose your shit and you come for me. And it's like,
what? When you're charging, people are losing stocks, and then you got 2 or 3 stocks, and everyone else got 1. Oh wow, fun way to win.
Because that you know what I think that's fun because that means everybody's gonna come for me. Like part of the game. And besides, I'm DK. Every time I'm DK, all you bitches instantly come for me. I have like 1 life when you guys all have 3.
That is, I don't see the problem. Juice has some weird thought process when it comes to playing Smash. Sometimes I had to just kind of submit to the idea that he's gonna say some weird shit every once in a while.
Hey, I mean, if you want to play a fighting game by sitting up in the highest ledge and charging while waiting for people to attack you,
all you gotta do is just go after him.
I always like, for example, in Smash, like Terrell and I have this like mind game always. I like with DK trying to like spike him into the ravine, and he knows that shit, so he's always coming for me first. Like I love that shit. That's good.
I love that stuff too.
That's a fisticuffs because me and you use power heavy characters.
I love it when Terrell's like, Retro's not that good anyway, and he seriously thought Retro wasn't good because he don't.
I still don't think Retro's that good. If you want me to be fair,
in one-on-ones, I would say he's.
I haven't fought Retro one-on-one.
Better than I am.
Retro ends up dying a lot in 4-for-4s. I never get the one-on-one opportunity with him. I mean, that's nothing against Retro. I mean, that's what's weird. Also, Retro's over here camping all the time, but he ends up dying a lot in 44. How's that happen?
Well, with Donkey Kong, there ain't camping.
No,
There's
dude, you
nothing.
just
Actually, I do the exact same thing with DK because he has the punch he needs to charge. It's the exact thing, but he charges it faster than Cloud can charge his
Retro's
limit break.
DK's arm is swole as fuck. His right arm is just huge. I mean, no fucking sense. Oh, side note, Juice, I do have some slightly good news for you. I know you probably don't care that much, but it's like a minor victory. I did watch some of the Smash Brothers tournament that was going on at PAX, and Wii Fit won the whole championship at PAX. So
that's cool. She's a beast.
Wow.
Well, she's better in this game. It's a pain in the ass. Although I think the one thing I hate about Juice, that Juice has like that one quirk where every time he jumps near you, he always back kicks you and shit. and it's every time. And sometimes I just fucking forget and I get punished for it.
Robert tasted those toes quite a few times.
But
that's because Robert has a foot fetish. Yo, that's all that is.
But that's funny though, because like everybody plays differently. Because now that you mentioned Wii Fit Trainer, every time Juice has the Wii Fit Trainer, he stands at the edge of the map, fucking throwing his goddamn volleyballs around.
Oh, that's true too, actually. Yeah,
That is true. You do that a lot.
throwing your damn fucking balls in my
I
face.
charge him.
I have no idea how, but they always goddamn hit.
Oh, Juice has got really good about angling them bitches. It's just more of a game of like knowing when to shield or knowing to duck. Wii Fit is the reason why I learned how I use ducking more often than I used to.
How can you never talk about me as a challenge in Smash? I don't understand you. You always just like talk about each other.
I mean, you and I are pretty fair, pretty even, and you play respectable. I'd say.
Never included. You know what? I try.
Pocket has integrity when he plays Smash, and he.
Oh yeah, because it's a fighting game. Wait. Is it integrity according to Juice? What kind of bullshit is this?
You ever play Call of Duty and that? You ever play Call of Duty consistently?
No, because I don't care for shooters.
You know what the worst person, the worst type of player type is a fucking camper.
Yeah, I know that. I only know that because I used to watch videos of people breaking their 360s by throwing their consoles out the goddamn window because they were so aggravated with Call of Duty.
Cheap way.
You know, working your anger issues.
Yeah, it's got so boring though, just to sit there.
That's what you get for turning all items off. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get.
But I mean, garbage though. It's so annoying.
I like items. I just never get to play them anymore because no one here fucking likes to play with items.
I always play with items on minimum normally, always.
Minimum, I think it's fine, but I think people can't stand when they get caught by the beetle or the death scythe, and they're like,
I just think items are just fucking annoying. Like, dude, I just want to fight. Why are there random ass shit in my way?
You say that because you have a fucking character who could kill at like 20%. Fuck you. That's
I'll play any character. I don't want no fucking.
Yeah,
I also only play flat stages. I always say, "What the fuck?"
I'm fine with that, but I mean, I don't have anything against the larger stages. What were you saying, Juice?
I was just saying, I mean, for the people that like items, I mean, that's fine. Just if I had the choice, I'd never have items on ever again for the rest of my life playing Smash.
Same.
To be fair, you wouldn't play the game if you couldn't play with friends either, though. So
True.
I also think it's funny, by the way, that Terrell's complaining about Robert's character with killing at 20 when you do your fucking grab and DK is dead at like 30.
Yeah, with Incineroar.
Oh yeah.
That
First off,
goddamn grab, man.
Killed me at what, 17%?
The grab can be stopped, and Juice has proven that in numerous fights. But I agree, that's the trade-off. He has shit mobility for the sake of heavy damage, which is part of the reason why it's in the light power heavy characters. It just happens.
Especially when you do that counter, right, and you double or triple your
I
damage.
don't get it off as consistently as I get off things like Ike's counter because Incineroar, he's too fucking slow and he's always in the mix of shit. I also get juggled a lot when you use Wii Fit or fucking Zelda because you want to come up and snipe motherfuckers with the ball or what is it, Jin's Fire? Fuck that. What you remember one match you killed me and you were on the other side of the fucking stage. Oh, let me just set my fire up in the upper right corner. Oh, I'm dead. That's fair.
Somebody in the chat saying they have Joy-Con drift just started happening for them. I know we talked about that.
Guess what? I got a pro controller now. I got a pro controller. Yeah, like I called it up 2 years
To be
later, man. I
fair,
got a pro controller.
All I'm gonna say
Not
is I use
drifting,
the WD-40. I haven't had any issues with it for at least like 6 or 7 months. That's all I'm gonna say.
And that shit gonna fry in a couple
All I would
weeks.
do, my suggestion would be to spray it on like a Q-tip and then dab it around the controller. That's the way you probably should do it.
But that was the Pro Controller as well. So
No. I mean, I said pro controller, didn't I?
yeah. I'm gonna say because
I mean, Joy-Con.
Joy-Con, you
To
don't want
be
to put
fair,
too much.
I said that as a suggestion, but that's not how I did it. I literally just took the can and sprayed the side of the controller.
It's this guy. He's trying to get people to murder their switches.
Their hand, the switch lights on fire, burns their hand, 3rd-degree burn.
Jeremy, 40, man.
Seriously.
Oh, listen. I
I was
waited.
about rocket fuel now.
I waited.
Daddy, I'm on fire. Put that fucking controller down. Turn around, you motherfucker.
No, hey, listen, I bought it, so it's fine. Hey, look, I got cloud saves though. I'm good.
Shit's expensive. This shit's expensive, man.
Their Joy-Cons have cost much as the Genesis Classic 2 controllers and 40
Ooh.
games.
Facts.
Do you know the cloud saves on the Switch? Does anyone else sometimes, before they like to start up a game, the game goes, bloop, cloud saves have failed on this game? Has anyone else had that?
No,
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I get it all the fucking time, man.
it's at the cloud saves.
That's because you probably
After work.
switch users, don't you?
I don't.
What's that got
Pocket.
to do anything with
How's
my
it-
cloud saves?
Because when you switch users, it's got to probably check your cloud saves in case something changed. I don't know.
I talk about
No,
all
that's
my
what
games.
Cray said. He played. His wife was playing, and then he's logged back in his account. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the cloud saves like system wide or is it user wide or what?
It's
It's user wide.
I never had that issue as far as
Yeah,
it
I've never
messing
had it either. I'm just thinking maybe if you're switching users, but Retro said he doesn't switch users and he gets it. So maybe
Retro's
it's
also
a UK thing. Maybe it's a Europe thing.
Maybe it's a French thing. Fucking, they just have it
Robert,
better.
T, have you seen that? I haven't seen it.
Seen what?
The cloud save error.
Oh no, I haven't seen.
I don't think I've actually even used the cloud save.
Well, I don't use it either. That's why it's stupid that
Oh,
it
yeah,
keeps
they don't
telling me
have it
that.
on.
I don't use it. It's just there in the
Yeah,
background.
as long as you have it on, you're using it.
Well, I've never noticed it's given an error or anything.
Well, to be fair, Robert doesn't turn on the switch that often.
The
Yeah.
error is that you gotta pay to exist for it to exist. That's the error.
To be fair, listen, to be fair, Sony does the same thing. You can't get cloud.
I know.
saves.
I don't like Sony doing that shit either. But
So-
Sony. But here's the thing about Sony. Sony does that, but you can back your shit up on a USB drive or something.
That's true. That
So
is
they give you an option.
Speaking of, I had my 3DS backup. When I was installed Windows, my second drive for whatever reason wouldn't show any of the apps in Windows 10, and I had like 100 gigs of I think a game or something I couldn't uninstall because it wouldn't even show it. So I was like going through. I was wiping my drive and I was making sure what I had on there. I had a fucking 3DS XL backup on there. It was like 7 gigs or something. I was like, what the? It was
Yeah.
from 2015, the last time
All that 3D
that file.
porn.
had been- I think it was just my save
3D
file. Or no, it was save files and videos, like 3D videos and stuff.
3D videos will get you. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't need this. I deleted that shit.
yeah.
I was so
gonna say, I
OCD with it.
Real quick, I want to congratulate Juice. Juice, man, you were dedicated, yo. How you have like 9 streams in one day?
I didn't.
That was the point. That's why it was funny.
I was just after I thought they were all I set it all to private, but
You didn't do it quick enough. Hey, listen, I'm a dedicated fan. You fucking kidding me?
I think
You were
what
mad at
happened
one
was
of them. You were
I put
mad
it
at
private, and then I refreshed the page
It's
and
also
I
funny.
switched it.
It's also funny to see Juice get progressively angry as the streams went on. So like one of them, he's like,
Fuck.
and one.
They were just fucking tests.
I love the one where he's like, oh look, it's already in the yellow.
I think that's the only one that was actually.
He's like,
I want it in the bed now.
yeah.
the orange.
Shit had me
Should have
dying.
never upgraded this shit. Fuck.
No, that's what I was having before. So I just had nothing. I thought it was CPU related. It wasn't. I think it's my GPU's just too bottlenecked trying to do streaming, play the game, and then have the OBS window open.
Yeah.
Just too
Maybe
much.
you should have bought an Elgato.
I have a feeling I missed something beautiful.
Oh, did you? Where'd you go?
No, I was here. I just didn't.
No,
see
he
that
meant
this-
he meant the streams.
I think only one. I think only
I was like,
the
damn,
one got
where'd
out.
you go, Richard?
Don't cross the streams.
Quite.
And also, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I had an issue. It was crashing, and it turned out my voltage on my CPU was just a little too low, and it was just too much draw for it, and then it would crash. So I got that figured out.
Oh yeah, I figured.
This is why we hate PC games.
I knew there were some issues with Shadow of the Tomb Raider because, like, if you're friends with Juice on Steam, in the corner I kept saying Juice is playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. 5 seconds later, Juice is playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Well, had to
Damn.
to get into the BIOS, you got to fucking restart the computer, and if I set the clock speed at default, and it worked fine. So then I was like, oh, it's got to be the voltage, and it's easy to, like, the BIOS now. It's really easy to over. It even says it on the fucking box that the overclock is 4.1. Like, it even says rated up to 4.1, but it comes default at 3400. I'm like, why don't you just have it default be at the max it can do with the right voltage? Like, it's stupid.
And this is why people don't like PC gaming
Yeah.
sometimes.
And Intel's even worse because Intel, doesn't even come with a cooler of any kind, and then you have to overclock them as well and make sure you have a cooler that will keep the damn thing cool because they run twice as hot.
Do your research before you buy your products.
I see why people don't build. They just go to Best Buy, and now Best Buy does have a way better, like, they don't just have Dells and Gateways anymore. They have some really nice looking custom production, but it looks like a custom desktop with, like, the the liquid cooled and stuff. You got some nice options, but if you want to spend $2,000,
This is giving me a boredom induced headache.
What kind of shit is that?
hey, at least you can upgrade.
I'm currently looking at parts and shit. I already bought my case. I'm probably gonna buy my cooling fan next anyway.
At least you can upgrade though, and you know what specs you actually have when you're.
Actually, ironically enough, Juice, you have any issue with the wattage? Was the one thing I was looking up yesterday. I was like, what kind of power supply do I need to get? Like, what's my wattage? And there's like a website that actually lets you put in your parts, and then it gives you the wattage it currently does. And I'm like, well, I'll go by that. So
yeah, I mean, for you're talking a $60, $80 item or something. I mean, just get the $750 or higher.
That's what I'm aiming. That's what I got in my cart right now.
Wattage and CPUs and CUDA cores. I'm snoring.
You said he knows what the fuck we talking about. That's what makes it work.
I know what you're talking about. Of course.
He's like, I'm bored. I was like, what kind of shit is this? I went to school and saw this shit already. I don't need to hear about this shit again. I'm at home. I'm supposed to be relaxing talking about video games. What kind of shit is this?
This is not meant to be funny. I'm not even, honestly, I have no clue. Does Apple even have anything desktop related anymore?
They have a screen.
Yeah. You mean they still have Mac Pros? Yeah.
Does it actually come with?
So it actually hooks to the monitor. It's not. Honestly, I thought that all they had was laptops. Now I didn't know.
No, they still.
I have a
not really
desktop.
sure. They still have iMacs and shit.
Wait, is an iMac all in one, or does it actually have?
It's the all-in-one, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because Apple,
It's a big ass screen, but it's
it's a
everything.
big.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone had, because my friend was looking for a computer, and he was like, well, let's go to the Apple section. I'm like, there ain't no point going to the Apple section. He's like, why? Because there ain't
take
no
out a loan.
one is damn expensive, and two, there ain't no box unless you just go plug everything into the screen. What you
Right.
mean, man? How's it connect? It's all in the screen. It's literally
screen.
all in one.
They even have all on the screen, like PCs too. You can buy, but
Yeah, but I hate those.
No.
Personally.
I mean, Apple's been doing that forever. Like, if you go back to, like, especially those candy colored ones they used to have in the early 2000s, those were iMacs too, and it was all built into the big ass CRT.
that fuck
So
yeah.
that's when they
Those,
started.
Called dedication.
But
especially
now
if
they're
it
a lot more elegant.
he had like a 17 or 19 inch.
Oh, boy.
CRT. Jesus, it was like 2 foot deep.
That shit was heavy.
That's how you work out, man. Come on.
Crazy.
They're
But
a lot
anyway,
lighter now. That's good.
I honestly didn't know. I pretty much I went to an Apple store not that long ago.
Did you
when
get
I was
lost?
a year ago when I was in Colorado at
Oh.
the
Oh,
Cherry
they
Creek
don't
Mall.
put the
No, it was all
Pros out front.
iPads, iPhones.
Yeah, the Mac Pros. That's because they know you spending a good 25-3 on them bad boys on the low end. So, yeah, so they don't even put them out front. They never did that. They never put those bad boys out front.
I'll be curious how well those things sell. Honestly,
They must be doing okay. I mean, it's mostly for probably more business and more like high art, like the the guys who do who do like major video editing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got one.
I have an iMac, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
I knew he was ahead of the time. I just had to make sure.
So let's just, for those that have got Yoshi and played Crafted World, I'm not sure who.
Yeah, no, I'm about to say, just you haven't said anything on it. I'm curious.
Trash.
You want my thoughts on it?
Yeah, I want to do some opinion.
Really evil.
The game
Go ahead.
is just a fucking joy to play. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I only got through 3 levels because I was doing other stuff this weekend. Building a PC and I had to rewipe Windows. That took me half a day to get everything back to where I wanted, programs and stuff. So, and then I had a friend turn 40, and so yeah, I didn't have a ton of time. I played 3 levels, and by the 3rd level, I couldn't get to the end with full health, or maybe it was the 2nd level. I was already struggling to get to the end with full health, and I'm
I was
like,
gonna say the 2nd level caught me.
I think it was the 2nd level with the stupid Koopa troops, and I'm like, wow, this isn't as gradual as usual. Usually, like in Woolly World, it wasn't until like 3rd or 4th world I was struggling more. So the variety just in those 3 levels is amazing. The game looks fucking phenomenal. Like I haven't played far enough to know if that creativity runs out or anything, but man, it's just
No, it doesn't.
It's just a fucking what's the word for your eyes? It's like what's the phrase?
Eyegasm.
Kind of, but it's a treat. It's just like a visual treat for your eyes. Like it's everything looks awesome. It almost looks like I've always said about games like this. It looks more realistic than any game trying to look photorealistic, because when you try to do super textures and all that, it never looks right. But when you take a game that looks like cardboard objects and cloth, it literally looks like a diorama that you're controlling. It's just amazing. So
I saw a tweet about that.
yeah, I think I tweeted that.
Yeah.
And then Yoshi just controls so perfect. It's so smooth. So I can't wait to get further into the game.
Yeah, I got to the first. I 100% did the first whole world, done the first boss, and now I've started the second world and stuff, which Roll from Rule to review put up a nice screenshot. Actually, I'll give him a shout out for it. It was one of the new levels, and it just looks like Pikmin. But when I got to the first boss, the actual they purposefully, not like they done with Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, was it? With the when they purposely dropped the frame rates to make like the clay animation look like it was jerky and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, they've done that again, and it's just an absolutely phenomenal effect to it. It looks fucking incredible, and it reminded me me of how I always wanted a Pikmin game to look. And if you remember, like the artwork for like Pikmin 2, when it's like Play-Doh and stuff like that, it was almost at that level, and it's just blowing my mind.
Like when you get the Yoshi eggs, that plays at that weird like stop motion animation effect.
Yeah. It's just I think it's all the small things in this game that you could so easily overlook, but it's just an absolute delight. A visual, just fun delight of a game. I'm fucking loving it. And I said I'm not moving on until I 100% each area, and I'm enjoying doing that. And then Retro was laughing at me because I've had to repeat, certain parts and stuff. But some parts, some parts just kick your ass. Other people get it, some people don't. And I just, some levels you repeat, at least, 3, 4 times, and until you get it right.
I just
But
love
I've
it how you
never-
were like raging, like, I can't get this fucking
Yeah,
guy.
I know.
It's just so good.
Well, what
I-
I do,
It's like, yeah, fuck it.
I was missing some red coins, so instead of I got to the end, but I didn't walk through. I went backtracked the whole level and found the one I missed, like because the enemies you destroy don't come back. So I literally went back through the entire level instead of starting over,
I've done that too, yeah.
and I
Yeah, I've
found
done that. I've done that.
so.
And that's
Um,
amazing,
like,
fun, isn't it? Running all the way back through. I love that
Mhm.
sometimes. You know, the fact that you can work your way completely back. If you have forgotten something or missed something, you can get back for the most part. You know,
I haven't noticed the music, good or bad. You know, I know there was some people saying it gets repetitive, and I can't speak to that because I only played 3 levels, but it didn't stand out to me as good. So I guess in a way that would
Yeah,
be.
I mean,
The thing it is, I feel with Yoshi's Woolly World, it feels like almost every level had like a unique
Mhm.
soundtrack, and I feel in this game, I have to agree. I feel the main theme comes back a lot, just in
Yeah.
remixed versions, and
I
you
think
do
so
start to notice that fairly
See,
quickly.
man.
I didn't even complete the first world yet. Now the music is always good, and like the second level, the underwater level, I love that remix. It is so good, but I do start to notice it.
See, this is the one problem I have with like previews and people's impressions. Like, I'm wondering if I would even notice this stuff.
Like
But
I
now
said,
I'm now gonna be noticing it because everybody's talking about the music and shit. And I'm like, God damn it!
I didn't
I'm
even, like, I played.
Somebody with you with such an eye for detail, trust me. I'm not.
Yeah,
I didn't
I mean-
even complete the first world yet, and I noticed it already. And
I'm
and
sure I
I
probably
didn't
would've
even
noticed.
hear it yet that people said it at that point.
I'm
I
sure
knew
would've
I was
noticed it,
aware
I
of
just
it.
don't want to be focusing on it now. I'm gonna be focusing, trying to hear.
Well, I was aware of it before, and I couldn't, like, honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I even remember hearing the music, like, so even knowing kind of ahead of time, I still, once I started playing the level, the music kind of was like, wasn't even anything that stood out. So I say the fact that it didn't stand out is just a negative in general for Nintendo games, because usually the music does kind of stand out. So, but I'm
especially
not.
Yoshi
I
as
like
well.
the thing I like about this game is kind of what Juice just said. Like, it is a hard game, but it's a different hard game than Woolly World, because Woolly World was like, sometimes I felt like it's a hard platformer, and this game, after playing it, I feel like my initial assessment of the game is right. It feels a lot more like Yoshi's Story. You're a lot of the time on flat surfaces, and I like the idea you can go to the background and the foreground. It feels more like an evolution of Yoshi's Story, and a lot of the difficulty comes like what you said. Like, they do throw a lot more enemies your way, and getting to the end of a level, sometimes I'm like, whoa, damn, that was a perfect level, and I'm like, wait, where the fuck is all my health go? Like, you get hit without even realizing it. Like, it is pretty hard. Like most Yoshi games and stuff. Like, if you really try to 100% it, like, sometimes I'm levels, and I've done the level like 5 times. I'm like, how am I still missing red coins? And like in Woolly World, you had like items to see hidden items and shit. You don't have that here. So I do
Yeah.
like that the game, like, it plays how I expected, like when it comes to like less platforming, but I feel it is on some times it's harder than Woolly World was, but in a very different way.
Yeah.
I'm curious now to like fire Woolly World back up and see, because like it's hard for me to like remember. There was so many different types of levels in Woolly World. Almost like I don't think they repeated a concept more than I don't even think they've repeated any of the like the style of the level. So I'd have to go back and play. But I feel like the foreground background stuff in Crafted World is definitely takes it to a different level for
Yeah,
me.
I
But
agree.
Yeah, that definitely does change it. Game change.
Like, even the stuff on the foreground, which some games just use to flip it up and shit. Like, now you see stuff on the foreground, I'm like, wow, that looks just so good. Like, even the stuff on the foreground, I like it when, because in the beginning you're like, oh, it's gonna be crafted world, there's gonna be some bit of cardboard and shit. But like, I love how smart they are, and sometimes you have like gems and it's like aluminium foil, and it looks like real fucking aluminium foil.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just so good. And like, you have like some floors that's a bit more deserty, and you see like styrofoam instead. Like, so creative with all that stuff. Like, it's just such a combination. It's like you said, it's like real dioramas made of like everything you have in the house. And that's what I like about those like flip side worlds, is that you see like the cans of soda and shit in the back, and like labels on like cheese and shit. Like, I love the flipping aspect.
It's
I
very
love
well
the-
done.
the blurred effects as well, because initially when you look at it, you think the background looks really blurry and stuff, but if you lock onto things in the background, it becomes crystal clear.
Mhm.
And there's one level where you're on a train, and as the train's going, it's like circling around this rock, and as it comes closer to the screen, it comes into focus. It looks fucking gorgeous, and then blurs out to focus as it goes background, and then like another train will come up right like to the screen while you're a bit further away, and that one's crystal clear and you're slightly blurred. They just seem to have balanced it really fucking well, and it's just it's a beautiful game. It plays amazingly. I said, I know, I think Retro disagreed with me on this one. I said I reckon Woolly World is the best Yoshi game so far, even better than
I'd say.
Better
Yoshi's
than
Island,
Yoshi's
right?
Story?
Better than Yoshi's Story. And better than, I'll have to wait to
Yoshi's
see
Story is pretty weak.
after Crafted World if it's better than Woolly World for me. But it's getting there. Apart from the soundtrack, it's getting there. So it's
Did you say that
yeah,
you
I'm
think
loving
Woolly World is the best Yoshi game and stuff?
I think
I
so.
Is that what you just said?
Better than
Yeah,
Yoshi's New
I
Island?
can definitely understand why you think so. And for me, I think I would put it on like second place probably. I think Woolly World is like perfect.
Yeah, when we play Smash, and I think Terrell can back me up. When we get to the, I don't know what Yoshi game it's based on. It looks like the original Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's.
It's from Yoshi's Island, that
Yoshi's
one, yeah.
Island.
But in like
Mhm.
HD, and that has foreground and background layers. Like honestly, they could just, it would be kind of a remake or something, but they could make it an HD version of that with layers in that art style from the Smash, Ultimate level. Well, I think it was originally in GameCube or something, but seeing that in Smash Ultimate, it looks phenomenal. I was like, I'd love to play a Yoshi game look just
See,
like
and
that.
that's how good Nintendo games look, because that was on the Super Nintendo, and that is my favorite Yoshi game, that one. If they would do what you just said, I would die.
Did
Yeah,
they use FX
yeah.
chip?
Yeah.
I'd be there.
It did, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be there. It's like,
one-
so we could use Yoshi. It's like, go on.
No, I was just gonna say like because we've talked like a lot about all the good and everything, and like it looks so much better than I expected it to, especially because like the level, the depth, and everything. I have one minor gripe with the game, and that is with Yoshi himself. It's not how because he controls super smooth, but if you've played
wait,
Yoshi
I know what
games like all your life,
I know
there's
what it's going to
there's
be.
minor details I hate, and the first one is the fact that he instantly swallows an enemy. You can't
Yeah, I was going to
press
say
down
exactly
for
the
it.
same.
Yeah,
It's like in past games, you would like strategize and keep like an enemy in your mouth, so you can like defend
Yeah.
yourself later, and you can't do that, and
Put
that
it back
bothered
out.
me.
yeah. I
And
found
like,
myself doing it even though I didn't need to. Like,
Yeah, and like it's a couple of
Yeah.
things like that. Also, that when you jump on an enemy, you don't fly extra much higher, which previous game you do. Like all of that was always like used for me, like strategy and platforming. But there's less platforming in this, so that I can understand. And another thing that they changed, but they couldn't have done that any other way. I feel though, because you fight like on the foreground and the background, and you need to move your eggs everywhere. But it bothers me kind of that you can't have like that automated egg thing going up and down in front of you. Like I feel like when you jump now, it becomes harder to hit an enemy with an egg that is, for example, below you.
Mhm.
If you want to do that, and it's just the small details that do bother me a bit, but some of the changes make sense. But the instant swallowing thing, like it bothers me in every level almost.
yeah.
I noticed
Yeah.
it, but I mean, I got over it. Like it was,
I've got it.
yeah, it was at first. It was a little weird, but I actually had to switch the button layout. I like Y for putting out his tongue, B for jumping, A for shooting. I can't play it any other way.
I did that too, and
don't
I
know.
changed the holding the button for the egg stuff.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
guessing
right.
Terrell didn't and Robert didn't play it.
I
didn't
did.
buy it.
Robert, you played it?
Yeah, I think I'm only like I think like 4 levels in or something like that. I think 4 levels in. It just like you, I was pretty busy this weekend, yo, and then at the first day I was putting it in, I was playing it, and I don't know if you guys ever do this. You're playing, and I'm like falling asleep, and I'm trying to, and I'm like trying to play. I'm like shit, and I'm like fuck, man, I want to
Yeah.
play this fucking game. And then I had to go to sleep, or I was just gonna literally be asleep while playing it. Literally, my eyes are literally closed, and Yoshi's just waiting there. Oh my god!
Nice.
So then I saw, the next day I wasn't really home, and then I was working and blah blah, and finally I got sat down, played some, not for very long, obviously, and it's really damn fun. And it came to the point where I was like, damn man, I gotta leave now. Fuck. It is cool because I actually really like the whole. Oh hey, can you go pick up this stuff for me? Throw the eggs at this and stuff. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go. And I would go and you throw the eggs at the
I wish it would give you the objective when you play the mission, the level the first time, so I could like, I don't know. I don't really love the idea of going back just to find one object and hit it with an egg.
I agree with that. I had the same problem. I wanted to write that down. The fact that if you do the level before and you hit all the shit, and then afterwards he tells you to do all the shit, I'm like, bitch, I just did all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't go back
and
and do that stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. I was having I was having some fun with it, and it's really damn good. It's really good looking, and it's a lot of fun. And I want to play, and I will be playing more. Just a bit busy.
Yeah. And I said this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, how when I first thought it looked blurry, I was playing on my computer monitor, and then when I replayed the demo on my TV upstairs, it looks fine. So I was like, I know Digital Foundry is probably gonna, if it's not out tonight, probably tomorrow, they're, the full analysis, and it runs at 640, 540. I guess the only area where I don't see the Yoshi's texture that much, but it's not that big a deal. Like I had to look at, I think it was the box art or something, to find out he was actually made out of like a blanket, or like a fabric, that you would see on a sweatshirt or a blanket or something. That's really the only thing that I noticed. But overall, I mean, it's still phenomenal looking game, and they did a good job.
I have to say, with the Switch difference, I don't know what happened to everybody this weekend, but no time to play this damn game. And if it wasn't for, I probably got 30 minutes in, and I had to stop. But if it wasn't for that Switch difference, man, if you saw my Twitter, I had to take the Switch to school and play during my planning period, which was awesome because this is like testing week, and so the schedule was very different. So I had my 35-ish minute lunch break, and then that went into my planning period, or periods, I should show. So it was like 2.5 hours almost of me playing Yoshi's Woolly World. Crafted World on Switch. So it kind of worked out today. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
So, that Switch difference, man.
Yeah, when I played the first level in portable mode while my buddy was running some stress tests on trying to get the CPU overclocked. I was sitting there with my Switch in my hand, played the first level, and it's like, yeah. I mean, when you have to use it, it is nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna get fired for putting that picture out there, but it's all good. Oh, this is what you do, huh?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I say we just wrap this up. Trying to get these now that the European guys have caught up to our daylight savings time. Just for Clocked's sake, I know it's late, so
is it later, or
it's an hour later now than it
was. We're back to normal again. Yeah,
we're back to normal.
No.
So appreciate everybody for watching, and I guess I haven't checked the chat in a long time, but we had a good viewership, and it was good discussion. So we'll be back next week, probably talk about some more gaming stuff. So everybody have a good night, and I'll see you then.